Good morning. It is me, Pearl, from Pearl and the Prayers, and this is Tuned in Tarot, and we are here to take a look at the balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine sides of self, understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see that reflected back to us in our interactions with others, in our external environment. And if we want to see change, we have to shift inside of ourselves. We have to shift our perspectives. We have to find the places where we intersect between those different energies and flow with them. So when you come here, you might be thinking about a person, and that's fine, but that person is a reflection of your energy. It will be composed of both feminine and masculine energy. So the messages you get from the feminine side are also messages that will come through a person who's reflecting back to you. This is the day where I choose the person to go first based on, I'm just realizing I forgot the top cards here, based on how many cards are showing, and Divine Masculine gets to go first. But before we do that, let's check our ego. So there is a reason that you tuned in today, an ongoing reason for some of you that keep coming back, and thank you. I love you. Thanks for supporting me. But normally there's a reason why we're watching readings. There's something that we feel is going to make us feel better. It's something that we think that we need in order to progress, in order to just feel good about ourselves, feel good about our situation, however that might be. So whatever that is, I want you to just gently think about that for a moment. Just touch it. There is something that you really want to hear me say when I give these messages, because you think, yes, that will make me feel better. So hold on to that. And then I'm going to show you what the universe thinks you actually need, or what you actually need rather than what you think you need. That's how I should say that. Okay, let us take a look. We are getting the Two of Swords, which says peace on it, and is about a truce. It's about rest finally happening after some really difficult struggles. And it's about going within. Usually there's a blindfold on the person that has the swords crossed in front of them. It can be associated with blocking energy or not allowing energy to pass through. It can be associated with making some kind of a choice or a decision, refusing to make it because it might be painful to somebody, whatever you decide. And so just sort of sitting there in that place of not communicating in order to just sort of allow the divine to make the decision for you, which usually results in a tower moment, an uncomfortable moment that requires us to release something. And this is coming out with this card, Push, which says, don't feel inadequate. Forget how to quit. Push on no matter how things look. So if you are in this standstill, or you're waiting on someone to make a decision, or if you are having trouble making a decision, push through the feeling of inertia. 8:22 on the clock, 3:36 when I looked over at the timer. So push through that feeling of inertia. Understand that after a struggle comes some relief, comes a moment of peace, truce. So push through. All right, let's start. Divine Masculine. I didn't pull the bottom of the deck. Top of the deck for Divine Masculine headspace. The Eight of Swords, and we're using the Dreaming Way Tarot, which was a gift from Katie. The Eight of Swords upright. So, noticing actually that there's a feminine here in this image with a blindfold on, and with this wall of swords around her. She's actually not even enclosed in the swords though. So they're not really representing like any kind of a useful boundary. They certainly aren't a prison. They are not keeping her there. She can just walk away from them. They're also not doing a good job of protecting her. And she's blind to that fact. I think this is an interesting message from the masculine headspace. This is overall that's on his mind. And he's thinking about the feminine as having been in a state of protection from him, not allowing him to really enter in. And I also feel that this is about him as well, feeling that he can't approach this feminine, or thinking rather, because we're looking at the thinking, the thoughts, thinking that he is not able to approach this feminine is a reflection of his own prison, his own mental entrapment. So while he thinks this feminine doesn't want me, she doesn't want to see me, she doesn't want me to communicate with her at this time, she's keeping me out, he is then, by those thoughts, actually embodying the thing he fears, because these thoughts are trapping him from approaching or communicating with the feminine fully. The niggling thing in the back of the mind, this underlies all of his thoughts and decisions, is the Four of Cups. Again, we're seeing a feminine energy who's staring at the Three Cups and refusing this offer here. This is also him fantasizing about how to give this offer, because since the overall thing on his mind is that the feminine is sort of behind this wall of some kind, whether it's of her making or his sort of remains to be seen. But so he's like, how can I possibly give her this offer when she's focused on the third party that came between us, or spilled cups, or other offers instead of mine? And I rejected hers and stayed in this fantasy space, which is why she's in this state, or why I fear with my thoughts that she's in this state. So this is overall on his mind. How do I get through this mental state that has kept our union in fantasy? Because I haven't been able to imagine how I could approach the feminine with this actual offer. To emphasize that, the first thing on his mind is the offer. There is the Ace of Cups. It is in reverse, not because the masculine needs to develop self-love. That's not the feeling I'm getting at all. We're seeing this in reverse right now because the divine masculine is actually trying to think about how to give this offer to the feminine, how to pour out the offer, the expression of his emotions, how to communicate this to her. So he is, the first thing on his mind is, how do I express my love? Or I want to, maybe not even how, because that's the overall thing on his mind. How do I get through? But this is, I love divine feminine, and I want to express this, and I want to say this to her. And my lack of self-love in the past is what caused me to have other options, but I no longer have any other options. I'm not confused. I have a lot of clarity, and I'm choosing myself. And when I choose myself, I get to pour my cup into the cup of my choice, right? The overflow from my cup, I get to pour into the cup of my choice. And I love how they illustrate this accurately in this cup, that there is an overflow, right? And he's ready to express that. He's not going to share it with any other options. He's remained on his own in this hermit energy. He's literally chosen not to give his cup to anyone else. And this can also be him thinking about how he has kept himself trapped, right? How he has kept himself stuck in fantasy, not accepting offers, even from the feminine. He's just been on his own. But when he has gone on his own, the light that has helped him find his way has been the light of the star, which is, of course, the feminine energy. And that has been this guiding light for him. That has been his reason for going into hermit mode and just sort of focusing more on himself in order to be able to fill that cup so he can share it. But he literally has chosen to be by himself rather than to have shallow connections or deplete his cup in unnecessary ways. Then we are getting the Ace of Wands in reverse and the Queen of Pentacles. And this is what is clarifying the Ace of Cups in reverse. That's two aces, both in reverse. For me, when the Ace of Wands is in reverse, this is about suppressing a desire, something we want really badly. It can also be about suppressing sexual energy. And coming out with this Queen of Pentacles here, we see this mother of a child. And at first I was feeling like, oh, this is that he wants the divine feminine. He's suppressing his desire for the divine feminine. But I actually think this might be the mother of his children, if he has had children, or his actual mother. And so he is having to deal with their desires, what they desire for him, or what they have desired for him in the past. And I feel like he desires not to be mothered. He does not want to be mothered. I also think he's trying to suppress desire for this past, not for the past partner, but the desire that comes from this past partner towards him. He has to work to suppress that. Like maybe she's still attached or still wants to have control, this maternal energy, whatever it is. But there's something about that gets in the way of him being able to pour his cup out fully. This is in the past placement. So this is what has affected him in the past. His thoughts about this. It's like, I haven't been able to pour this cup out because of this maternal energy and their desire for me to, do or be somehow. What comes out after that is the Lovers in reverse and the King of Pentacles in reverse. So this is clarifying the Seven of Cups. And this is what I'm saying. He's no longer choosing other lovers. He's not choosing other options. He's got clarity about why he made these choices. It was because of his ego and his reputation. He wanted to feel like a big man. He wanted to feel like, and that's not a gender, that's an energetic aspect. He wanted to feel like, like he was admired and respected and, like he was hot and like a lot of energy would be attracted to him. And that came from a place of true unworthiness because he was seeking external validation from these third parties. And he's choosing to leave this behind. He's choosing to release this energy. Which is why he's on his own right now, the Hermit. And what's clarifying that is the Four of Pentacles in reverse and the Two of Swords, which of course he has to push through, right? He's got to push through this standstill. He's got to push through this indecision. So right now he is in Hermit energy, working on releasing his attachment to external validation or another partner that he had. And he's actually starting to become peaceful in this energy. I do see him as thinking of the divine feminine as having let go of him and blocking his energy right now. or just not being open to it or not seeing it clearly. I feel this frustration from him. Like, how can she not see that I love her? But then understanding that it's because he's been, keeping to himself and holding on to his communications and not actually speaking to her, that has caused her to become guarded. All right, so that's his headspace. His heart space. Oops. The Eight of Swords is right underneath the top card, and the Eight of Swords was the top of the headspace, so that's great. Oh my God. Jesus. Okay. So we have here the Eight of Swords being clarified by the Ten of Swords. So again, the reason why the masculine feels the feminine is out of reach is because he betrayed her in some way, or because there is an ongoing painful separation. So if he didn't directly betray the divine feminine, but has betrayed other feminines in the past and is cleaning up that mess that he has made with those feminines, he's in separation from the divine feminine at this time while he's dealing with the painful wounds that have been inflicted. He's also feeling stuck because of what I said about this card initially. Also, good morning, Sunshine. I'm seeing you there. He initially said, I initially said that, there was this reflective energy coming from the Eight of Swords, where on the one hand, he is seeing the divine feminine as protecting herself from him and not seeing him. But on the other hand, his thoughts about her in this energy are keeping him stuck. The niggling feeling in his heart space, the little worrying feeling, is the Fool in reverse. How foolish he was to not make this offer to the feminine, or reject offers she has made to him, or keep her in this fantasy space, because he was being really overly cautious. And that overly cautious energy has created this standstill between them. I can't believe this because I have only used 3 decks so far. And the next card that is clarifying this Ace of Cups in reverse is literally the Two of Swords. 3 decks, 3 Two of Swords. I don't know what the odds are on that kind of shit, but like, what the hell? I guess we need to push through this standstill. We need to push through this time of silence. But also, it's an indication to me that there is peace. There is peace here. Somehow, all the tumult, all the stormy energy, all the chaos has resulted in this quiet. And while that joy is currently blocked because of this eclipse energy here, it's there. As soon as the swords come down, we're free to experience that. And we know that an eclipse is only temporary. So this is like a temporary time of quiet. This is why the divine masculine is having trouble pouring out his cup. How can he get through to the feminine, right? How can he really bring her this message? And it's not because, and listen, when my ego is hearing this message, I'm like, what do you mean? How can he get through? All he has to do is talk to me. All he has to do is just communicate in some way. But his mental entrapment is that you are not open to this type of a communication, that you are afraid of it, that you are guarded in some way, that you might be challenged by him approaching, that you don't want him to tell you about his loving feelings. There is his own self-protection that is keeping him from being able to have what he desires, that is eclipsing his desires. Okay. Clarifying the Seven of Cups is the Five of Cups. And for me, this is that he is really feeling that he made these poor choices in the past because of his tendency to actually be depressed. I feel like this is a person who might have depression occasionally, and or maybe chronically in some cases. And he made poor choices because it was difficult for him to feel he has a lot of choice or a lot of opportunity. He felt like he couldn't choose the divine feminine to a certain extent. He was really there was some kind of a disappointment that happened or occurred, and he felt like he didn't even have the option to be able to come towards her because she was disappointed, or he was disappointed in how he acted. He was ashamed. I feel like this horse looks even ashamed. So he just felt like, he just feels like he doesn't have a lot of options. He wants to choose her, but he doesn't have a lot of options in ways to come forward to her, or maybe he feels like he doesn't have a lot of opportunity to bring her, something like that. The Hermit is being clarified by the Wheel of Fortune. So this for me is that he has taken this time, which has been divine, to go within, using that star to guide him, and start to find these parts of himself that we're looking at him contemplating right now. So the Hermit energy that he's been in has given him this awareness. He's aware that his own thoughts are protecting him from the feminine. He's aware that his fears about how foolish he was or how much he's disappointed her are going to affect her willingness to actually communicate with him. And he's taken the time that the divine has given him to really separate himself from other energy so that he could come to these conclusions. There is also a sense that he needs time to really make order out of all of this chaos. He's created a lot of chaos, and he has needed time to really deal with it. Yep, see this? Okay, so I'm absolutely right then about this feeling. So this Queen of Pentacles is not the divine feminine. This is a maternal energy from the past. It can either be the mother of his children or his mother, grandmother figure, mother energy in general. But he has had to establish healthy boundaries with this person because he's had to fight off her desires, okay? This is being clarified by, or this is rather clarifying this truce, the standstill. The reason why there hasn't been movement or motion is because divine masculine has had to fight off this external energy. But if you've been following me for a minute, then you know what I think about this. This is an illusion. These wands aren't real. Look, this wand is a black wand, and these wands are imaginary. There's no one holding them. There's no one fighting you. There's no maternal energy that's going to block you from the burning desire that you have. You are simply creating obstacles that prevent you from having what you desire. So in this way, this feminine energy from his past has become an obstacle that he's created for himself. And he's had to put boundaries up against it and defend himself against this energy, whatever her desires are, which are not good. He's had to fight off. Her desire, it looks like an older pattern. It looks like somebody who's unhealed to me, and they they're seeking provider protector. But I don't get a sense that they have their own sense of self. I feel like they are identifying through the masculine and through the children they have. So if it's the masculine's mother, she doesn't have a good sense of boundaries. She has created fears in this masculine about how feminines will act. And so he's really got to fight off those fears and illusions and ideas that come from this past energy. The King of Pentacles in reverse and the Lovers in reverse. Now, also, I think this is really poignant for those of us in the collective who have partners that have had a wife. It's like he's not her husband anymore, right? The Lovers is in reverse and the King of Pentacles, not your provider anymore. Now, if this is a single mother, like let's say the masculine has a mother who has been a single mother, and because of that, he has had this man of the house kind of a role that was, you know, sort of forced upon him. And he has made 8:44 on the clock. He has made decisions in regards to that role and suppressed his own desires in order to appease his mother's needs or whims or whatever, because she identifies so strongly with him. And he's no longer going to be like the man of the house. He's no longer going to deny himself loving connections because his mother is in the way, right? So that's true for some that don't have another relationship. Or I'm for masculines that haven't been married or don't have other children of their own. But children can also just represent long-term commitment. So even if, like, let's say your person was married or in a long-term partnership, but there was no children, it was just something that was long-term. It's lasted for a long time, something like that, or it was something that was meant to last for their whole life. That can be what that means as well, that it's just a past partner that's long-term that he's had to now defend himself from. Okay. So now we're getting this King of Pentacles and Lovers in reverse. So one thing I say about when I have a placement with both cards in reverse, I have a strong feeling that things are right about to turn around or shift or change. So he's right about to come into this husband, father, protector, provider mode in this protected, loving soulmate relationship that he has been desiring. And here we have the Four of Wands in reverse. So again, for me, this is very much about him having left a past long-term commitment, no longer wanting to be in a marriage with somebody, and most likely having to work on, like, this is what that Hermit energy has been about, where he's needed time to figure his shit out, to no longer have these commitment issues. He's really seeking change because he's understanding how much his lack of commitment to others has really caused this terrible disappointment. And he's sad that the situation unfolded in such a way that honestly, he opened the feminine up to other options because she couldn't consider him as one. Again, like I said, when there's reversals like that, so many cards reversed, for me, this is about to change. He's about to become husband, provider, protector in a long-term committed relationship. That's what that Hermit energy has been about, is getting this stuff in order. This Two of Swords and the Four of Pentacles in reverse is being clarified by the Four of Swords in reverse. This is the awakening. It is that time of truce and rest being over. It is that time of holding on to communication and not speaking, ending. It is, it's about how the masculine is resisting being in grief over the situation, not in a negative way, but in a positive way. Rather than be focused on the grief that has taken place, he is going to be optimistic that he can actually communicate through this truce to the divine feminine. There's a very realistic place for the masculine to be. I like that it wasn't like fantastic, like he's coming today and everything's sorted, because for me, when I'm getting those readings, I'm feeling much more that it's a masculine who's thinking and feeling in this fantasy space, who's not really ready but wants to be. And when I look at this, which was a little, how do I want to say this? Realistic is what I said before. It's realistic. It's like he's really contemplating the effects of his behavior, which is how we make a change. And the change that he's making is healthy boundaries, leaving behind past commitments that were only there because of obligation or duty and not coming from a genuine, authentic place of desire. And then communicating with the feminine and just breaking through this boundary or this truce with the divine feminine so that he can actually express to her that cup of love. So we will go back and do his billion oracles. Stay tuned for that. Let's dig into the feminine side. Oh, my feminine, I love you. And the thing that you were thinking about the most today in the Mystical Moments Tarot, by the way, I was using the Wild Unknown in the heart space for the masculine. I don't think I said that. And I did say the Dreaming Way Tarot that Katie gave to me in the headspace. For the feminine, we're using the Mystical Moments, gift to myself. And I adore this deck. And this very strange Lover's card. Now, here we go with the first card coming out for the feminine, already appearing over on the masculine side. Yeah. And it was in reverse, of course. So the divine feminine is thinking about love, really wanting love. Look at how she embraces that masculine. And I think it's so interesting, not only because he's wearing this Blue Jay costume, which Blue Jays are dicks. So he's wearing this mask that he's a dick, but also his hand is here on her arm, not around her, which is interesting. And you can't really tell if he's trying to take her arm away or if he's putting her arm on him, or if he's going to extend his arm around her. We're catching them at this moment of uncertainty. What is the relationship between these two individuals? What is it? The feminine is like, do I even know this person underneath this costume? And I love him anyway. But where is he? What is his feeling? Is he wanting me or does he not want me? That is what the feminine is thinking about overall on her mind. And I don't think this has to be about one specific person. It can actually just be about a masculine energy in general. For those of you who are starting to view these readings without being attached to someone specific, this can be not so much about that someone specific being like, does he love me or not? It can just be like, will masculine energy receive love for me or not? Is that not going to happen? Is it going to happen? I want it to happen. The niggling thing in the back of her mind, the little thing that's worrying her, is the Three of Wands. This underlies all her thoughts and decisions. And this one keeps coming out for the collective. It's been coming out in TikTok readings, and I've been addressing the fact that this feminine holds a ship in her hand while waiting for others to come in, which is strange because, why do you need other ships if you've got one in your hand? So the only thing I can think of is that she's expecting that she's sort of assessing those ships. Is the ship coming in a match to the ship that I have? That's a feeling that I'm getting from this card today. Underlying everything is this feminine's willingness to wait. But the waiting is so different from the way it was before. In the past, the feminine was waiting for a specific individual. But now what she is waiting for is love that is worth it, right? Something worth waiting for. And in order to know if something is worth waiting for, she is checking to see, does it match my ship, right? Because I've been waiting a long time and I have grown and grown and grown, and my ship is fine, honey. It's fine. It is fully loaded with supplies and treasures and just everything you could possibly desire. And I need to see another ship that looks like mine. Right now, I can't even tell if this guy is a guy, right? Like, not gender-based energy. Okay. So the first thing on her mind is the 10 of Wands in reverse. Oh, I get a heavy burden here. Really desiring to put down this responsibility, the burden of carrying like how to get love, how to get people to communicate love to you, how to be able to communicate love to others. This has been something the divine feminine has really been struggling with, something that has been very difficult for her to ask for help with. Someone gifted me a reading. Christina actually gifted me a reading, and I thank you for that so much, from another person who comes to my readings and is part of the spiritual nourishment course, but her name is Haley. And she did this really amazing womb healing and sent me the cards that she pulled during healing and like communicated things that came up. And I was exhausted when I read it because I was like, I am so tired of this burden of love and wounding, and literally my job is to help others with it, and I don't ask others for help. Like, I was gifted that reading, but I don't actually ask for help with my issues. Like, I suppress that. I hold that in. I don't communicate. So divine feminine is thinking about that. She's thinking about how she carries the burden of trying to create this happy life for herself, and she wants to put it down and she wants to share it with someone else. And the good news is she's doing that. The world is about something that's right about to complete. It's a completion of cycles. Because cycles are cycles, they're going to come back around in different ways, and you're going to always experience these lessons in various ways throughout your whole life. I was talking to my 15-year-old son last night about he was reading, he did he started to talk to some girls, and one of them asked him to take a personality test. I was like, good for her. Like, she's assessing whether they're a good match or not. So he took the test, and I said, I think you're going to be an ENFT, like before he even took the test. And then he finished it. He was like, Mom, I'm an ENFT. And I was like, I know. Like, I knew that's what you were going to be. That's because I fucking know astrology, and astrology is way more accurate than freaking IQ tests, but actually they're pretty accurate, both of them. And I am an ENFP because I'm very peaceful. But William is very turbulent. So that makes sense. Anyway, he was taking his little quiz or whatever. And one of the things in the quiz talked about whether or not you contemplate, like you get sort of existential and contemplate the meaning of life. And he paused for a moment and he was like, yeah, I do that. Like, I was doing that the other day, like, being like, what is the point? Like, and I can't remember exactly what he said, but I was like, well, why do you play GTA? Like, why do you play Grand Theft Auto? Like, you play Grand Theft Auto because you want to go through all these little missions and like interact in the world. And like, that's literally the meaning, is just to like, it's just to play it. It's literally just to play a game. And when you play a game, like, frustrating shit happens and like your character dies, you lose entire levels. You're like, what the fuck? Like, this sucks. It's annoying. And then you put it in and play it again. And he was like, oh my God, that's true. And I'm like, that's the meaning of life. Anyway, so there are these cycles, right? And throughout life, you're going to experience annoying, frustrating things again. It's literally something you want to do. You want puzzles to solve. You want challenges. The consciousness is clever, curious, and interested. You are part of the consciousness. When you awaken to it and tune into it, You realize that this kind of stuff that's been frustrating and difficult and annoying is something you chose because of the feeling of completion. Because when you pass that mission or go to that next level or finish the game, which you might even start again because it was fun to play, that mastery, you want that. You want to get through that. That mastery is so satisfying and so fulfilling. And I have to tell you something right now, because there's a lot of people that are listening to this reading that think that coming into union with a lover is going to make them feel like the game is complete. Now, there's two things that you need to know and understand about that. Number one, that means your mind thinks game over, and you don't want the game to end. So if you are putting all of your eggs into the basket of a relationship, your brain is literally thinking, don't get a relationship. That's going to end the game, because you think that's what the end of the game is about. It's not about this at all. This is just part of the game. It's part of the game. It's only a piece of it. So that knowledge, that awareness for the feminine is really profound, because it means that as these old cycles of being overburdened, people pleasing, not communicating, holding your shit within is ending, is completing, new cycles will take place, but it won't be handled in the same way. You'll get more mastery every time. It's like, imagine you played a level of a video game that was really difficult and you died like 470,000 times, and then finally you get it. You know, you have to like jump through like 16 hoops, do a backflip, bounce off the wall, and like get to the coin or something. And you try it over and over and over and over, and you're almost like, why the fuck do I keep even doing this? But you know that you can do it. It's definitely possible. Other people have done it. There's a way to get that coin. They wouldn't have put that coin there if I couldn't get it. So you keep trying and you keep trying and you keep trying and you keep trying. You're so frustrated, so frustrated, so frustrated, so frustrated, so frustrated. And then I did it. I fucking did it. I fucking got the coin. Like, what, did you see that? And then you're like, bitch, I'm going to do that again. Like, now that I did it once, I know I can do it again. I love this card being in reverse. This is the Seven of Swords. This is a release of your fears and anxieties regarding the secrets and mysteries and the things that are hidden from you. It is no longer protecting this new love energy from this egg here that she's holding. It's no longer protecting yourself from new love, from new creation, new ideas. It's really, really, really positive for me to see this in reverse. This is also about you not wanting to communicate, not trying to get away with the behaviors that you have been engaging in the past as well. Three of Pentacles in reverse. This is what's been so difficult for you. The Ten of Wands is clarified by this Three of Pentacles. So this is like you've been doing everything on your own. And this time of no partnership, no collaboration, no help, no assistance, doing all the heavy lifting. That time is done. And now you can finally welcome this 10 of Cups, your bliss fulfillment, your spiritual fulfillment, which does include love and a companion. It includes a lot of opportunities. It's deeply emotional, but balanced with the headspace as well. It's a beautiful energy. Right now, in this present moment, the cycles that you have been in of solo work, all on your own, not having a support system, not being able to see your desires come to fulfillment in the 3D, that time is over. And now you are able to fully experience your joy and happiness. Because this Temperance card, because of the harmony that has been achieved through this process of healing, any desire to manipulate others or the energy to your own benefit. There's been a surrender here. It's clear in this overall thought where you're like, does this masculine energy like really want me to love? Will they accept the love? It's very clear that you have tempered the over emotionality that would force you out of fear to try to manipulate the masculine into communicating with you or being with you, or, you know, defy the universe's timeline, or any of the impatience that was present for you has started to calm. Like the waters are calm. That's what that truce is about. That the divine masculine is really having to push through, because right now there's this sense from the feminine that's like, I have some peace from not being manipulated by any other energies and not trying to manipulate anything. And I don't want that to change. And I think the masculine is feeling that energy as somehow impenetrable, but it's actually a really open space for the masculine to enter, because the divine feminine will not be manipulative. She will not experience feelings of manipulation because of her balance with inside of herself. So while this masculine has convinced himself the divine feminine is unapproachable, in truth, she is more emotionally regulated and less manipulative than ever. Hopefully he watches my readings. Okay, let's see. The top of the deck for the heart space for the divine feminine. High Priestess in reverse. And this is clarifying that Lover's card where she's like, does he like me? Does he? I don't know. So this is the trust issues. This is the overall thing in the heart space that the feminine is really feeling is coming between her and her ability to let this love come in. I saw a TikTok last night before I went to bed. I loved this reader. Her energy was very different. I was like, this bitch is a Pisces 100. I could feel, but it might be a rising or something, because I don't know, that it was a little hidden, but regardless, it was this sweet kind of funny energy that I always see with Pisces. And it was a 2-part reading, and she talked about the beginning, like there is a person who wants to come in and da-da-da. And then she was like, well, what's the block? And the block was the feminine didn't believe that. And then the second part of the reading, she said, it might actually take a long time for the feminine to start believing that love is possible, or that this person that she is imagining or manifesting does actually want her, is manifesting her. So that's what the feminine's feeling is right now. She's working on how to trust that she can have love, that she's going to get to experience it, because it's been a long time. Almost none of us have experienced true love. Let's be real. Like, most people don't do that. Most people do not do the kind of inner work it takes to experience such a fulfilling love. Most people are content with codependency and enmeshment. That's what they're used to. That's what we're taught to do. And that's why it can be difficult to manifest relationships that you intuitively know are a lot healthier. Because when we look around, that is sort of a pioneering type of a outlook. So it is tough to trust that this type of a love will come. And feminine is working on it. But the thing that makes me really happy is that the niggling feeling in her heart space is exactly the thought of the present moment, the world, the cycles of not trusting self and not trusting in love. Those are coming to a close. The cycle of feeling like you're going to always be carrying this burden by yourself. You're never going to be able to share love or experience love. That's over. It's totally over. We have the 4 elements represented here with Aquarius, Leo, Scorpio, and is it Taurus? I have to look. I don't have all the zodiac symbols memorized. But now I really want to know. No, what is it? Yeah, it might be Taurus. Right? Aquarius, air, Scorpio, water, Leo, fire, and Taurus, earth. Oops, I forgot to put all these cards back. Anyways, okay. So the whole point of that was simply to illustrate that all four elements are here, are present, which indicates a balance in all the different aspects of self. So these days of a lack of trust and love or self, that's coming to a close. And Divine Feminine is like, oh, no, I trust. I do. Oh, my God. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. 10 of Wands in reverse. What's this about? The 10 of Cups. What's really interesting is this 10 of Cups from the Ostara Tarot, which shows the most clinging of all of the, spiritual bliss fulfillment cards I've ever seen. And I always find this kind of an interesting energy. Look at that. The feminine putting her arm around the masculine here. The masculine putting his hand under her chin. It's like, in this case, is he taking her arm away? And in this case, he's really like getting her to look into his eyes. Like there is a surety there that comes from this, which is not a lover's card, but it's the 10 of Cups. So the burden Divine Feminine has been about being able to enjoy love with her person. She's been the one who has done the heavy lifting for this relationship to try to preserve this love between them. This World card is clarifying the 8 of Pentacles in reverse, which is interesting because I think that she has done this at the expense of whatever mission or work or craft that she needs to do here in the material. And that is what is ending. So rather than your responsibility being to create just a love relationship in your life, you are now understanding that that is only a component of you as a whole. Remember, I took that time to illustrate that there are 4 elements in the World card, right? There's fire, there's water, there's earth, and there's air. So there's head, and there's heart, and there's passion, and there's emotion. Like and the material, it's all of it. And Divine Feminine is finally releasing this tendency to focus entirely on love relationships at the expense of the legacy she's meant to leave on the earth, which has little to do with sexy times with your partner. I mean, there is obviously giving birth and having a child, but she has much more to offer than just that maternal energy. That has been the age of Aquarius. That has been the enlightenment that comes through this time. That the feminine isn't just a helpmate. I literally just said that to my sister last night. I said the dynamic of relationships being the center, your love relationship with your partner being the center of a feminine's life is entirely because when masculines get married, their life expectancy increases. When feminines get married, our life expectancy stays the same or decreases. In fact, the only way to secure our life expectancy to either increase it is for us to have a lot of feminine support around us. This has been the dynamic in the past. For women, our life expectancy goes up if we have a lot of female friends, a loving, supportive community. Masculine, his life expectancy is going to go up as soon as he's married. So, or as soon as he has a partner, a helpmate is how I described it. And feminines have been nurtured into this idea that that is their role and that is their purpose. And they feel this incredible pull to have a relationship and ignore everything else. And when in reality, to have a healthy life, you want to have friends, a career, a spiritual life. There's all these other things that would make your life better that don't have anything to do with, you know, darning someone's socks, cleaning the shit stains off their underwear, and doing their dishes after you've cooked for them. There's like little benefit to feminine being in relationships nowadays that aren't healthy because we make our own money and we can provide for ourselves. And because of that, we're less interested in the bullshit that we've been experiencing for so long. In the past, you needed to attach to somebody so that you could have a credit card, but that's not true anymore. What has this time of secrets, things that are hidden, experiences with people getting away with things, some negative stuff associated with the Seven of Swords? What has this really helped the divine feminine develop? Strength. This is ego versus humility. As I heard Meredith say this morning in the reading that she did from Meredithia Crystals and Minerals. She's such a lovely reader. I feel so bad because she's always challenging me and I like swear at her. And then like in my, like as I'm listening to the readings, and then I went into the comment section today and I'm like, I love you for challenging me and just being overall incredible. But so this time where divine feminine has not known what's going on, when those secrets were revealed, like when she found out what was happening behind the scenes, all that did was increase her strength. It increased her ability to control her baser motives, her passions, you know, her tendency towards jealousy or anger from these, from experiences like this. It's helped her achieve mastery over her ego. This Three of Pentacles in reverse. It's being clarified by the Ace of Wands. Interestingly, the Ace of Wands in reverse appears in the same position for the masculine. So there is this interesting alignment that is there. Divine feminine, she really wants partnership. She really desires partnership so strongly. She desires to end this period of time where she is completely alone, working on everything by herself. This is her strongest desire. And it's not because the society, you know, made her believe that she needs to be with a masculine in order to benefit the patriarchy. That is running through our beliefs about relationships. But everybody desires love. Love is the only thing. Love is all there is. Love is the only reason to exist. It's the only reason. So it makes sense that there's a strong desire for love. But this is about her desiring to share her life, to share the work that she does. That's clarified by this 10 of Wands in reverse here. She desires to share the burden of creating a partnership. She doesn't want to be the only one who's like messaging, calling, setting up things. Like, not only does that feel negative because it makes you feel like the other person isn't as interested in you, it's also a lot of work, and it's the whole reason to be in a partnership is to have a partner. If you don't have a partner, what the fuck is the point? The Ten of Cups upright is being clarified by the Three of Swords in reverse. So whatever wounds Divine Feminine received, those are healed. She's completed the cycles that required her to focus on the material wounding that happened, and to embrace how her love, her passion, her fulfillment. It's a lot of things. It's not just this couple here, right? Because she is focused entirely on relationship at the expense of her career. And she did that because of these wounds she received in the past from her family, or, just generally the wounds we receive as feminines in our culture. But she has healed those things. And her bliss fulfillment now is not just about this loving union, although it's a big component of it. It's one of the main things in this image. But it's about being able to be actually emotional and experience like your headspace in a positive and balanced way. So this is what Divine Feminine has healed. She's healed her ability to tune into her joy. She can get there through her work. It doesn't have to just come from a relationship. That's the cycle that has ended for her, where her only happiness seemed to come from a relationship. My sister's Chiron is, I can't remember what it's in. Pisces? Is it in Pisces? I don't know. She sent me the description of her Chiron last night in regards to like her issues with that she's going through. Let me see. It's in Leo. Oh my God, she has a Chiron in Leo too? She shouldn't be so resistant to working with me. All my freaking people have Chirons in Leo. But for her, it's in the house that it's in. It's in the 7th house, which relates to one's issues, which represents issues with one's vital force to relate with others intimately. So that's how this functions for her. That's how this is an issue for her. And there was this one thing that really resonated with me. You may also become compulsively attached to the idea of close personal involvement, seeing yourself as more of a part of a desired union than as an isolated ego on your own. Yet your very wholeness does also depend on being able to stand independently, so that there is an element of dysfunction in the way you deal with interpersonal relationships. I feel like that's relatable for a lot of the people that come to me, and seeing as like a lot of my people have Chiron placement in Leo. Chiron is the part in your chart that is known as the wounded healer. It is, for me, my Chiron is in Taurus. So I have issues with sustaining myself, financial issues, or things being taken away from me, the rug being pulled out from under me. Speaking of which, I had the rug pulled out from under me in January. So if you would like to help me with my Chiron placement, please go click support on my page. I haven't received very many donations for some reason. Bookings have been low, even though it's actually $150 to book the longer readings, and now it's only $130 because they're pre-recorded. And I mean, you could still ask me questions and everything, but it's actually a little more affordable. So please go book. Please go support me. I had a rough January and I'm about to start February, and I just really need things to pick up for me so that I can have my security and stability. That is my wound that I have to heal. So for most of the people that I work with, this particular thing is an issue. My sister did not like when I told her, like, she was like, I hate that. I hate that like you have to work on yourself. There's so many people who have relationships that don't work on themselves, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yes, there are. And there are over 50% of marriages that end because of that. And the people that, you describe that easily get into relationships and flow into them, those people don't have these wounds. When you have these wounds that cause you to be fixated on another individual as a completion, you will experience discomfort because another person can't complete you. It is impossible. You are already whole. So if you don't feel whole, then the idea that someone else is going to make you feel whole, it's not going to work. And you're actually going to cause a lot of trouble because you're going to expect that person to complete you, and they're never going to be able to. So clarifying this final position where this divine feminine is balanced, she's regulating her emotions, she's no longer manipulating others or allowing herself to be manipulated. And she's also kind of powerless to the divine healing her right now. I'm also picking up on this. There's a powerlessness right now that comes from knowing she has wounds that need to be healed. Like my Chiron placement, for instance. She definitely does need to heal those wounds. And then this is the feeling of the heart space, the divine timing. This is what she feels powerless to. Divine masculine felt it too. He felt that he used this time to create change within himself so that he could clean up the messes that were in his psyche and externally manifesting. Divine feminine has needed this divine timing herself to regulate, to self-regulate, to come into harmony within self, to release fears that cause her to chase or manipulate or push, to release any individuals who have been manipulative with her. This is what the divine timing has helped the feminine with. And there's this sense that there has been a great change within her. Time for the oracles. Let's go back to the masculine side. I'm going to try to bust through these as quick as I can. All right. The archetypes for the masculine today include: he is in the shadow attributes of the dilettante. This is pretension to a much deeper knowledge than you actually possess. But I actually think that this is about the danger of becoming superficial in his pursuits, and the delighting in the arts without having to be a professional. It's very difficult for this divine masculine to just get in there and try things without being a professional at it. And he's had a tough time being superficial in the past, and either having superficial conversation, communication with the feminine, or in some cases having superficial relationships with karmic partners rather than go deeply into something, deeply into his own inner knowledge, and embrace that he has to just try to be in a loving relationship without being a professional at it. You know, this would be like choosing to have a lot of like one night stands because there was really no way that you could be like assessed really in that situation. You don't know how to be in a committed relationship, so you can just be in a lot of these like frivolous things. So he's working on that archetype. He is also being a monk right now, so I don't think there's any sexy times going on for this masculine. And he's in the light attribute of it, which is a selfless devotion and a single-minded dedication to spirit. So he is truly, truly connecting to the divine and being really selfless about that devotion. It feels good to him. It feels better than a lot of other things have felt. I'm getting that sense. Ooh, practice makes perfect. This is perfect. This goes with the dilettante card, because he doesn't like to do something he's not a professional at already. How is he going to approach the feminine and say, I love you, when he's never truly expressed true love before? This is how. His guardian angel is going to support him in practicing. He's going to go forward to the divine feminine and he's going to say, I love you. And then he's going to start practicing love. And as he starts to practice love, it's going to be perfected over time. That's it. In every moment, the universe is conspiring to bring me toward right-minded thinking and the energy of love. I don't know why that's difficult. There we go. So yes, in every moment. So this is this assurance that the masculine has that the universe is behind this union. So his fears about not being able to break through these barriers or boundaries, whatever, he's just got to have this faith that in every moment the universe is conspiring to bring him toward that energy of love. So everything that's happening is truly divine. Masculine is getting this home card a lot, and look what it came out with. Commitment. I love that. That makes me really happy. We see a house card come out for masculine a lot in the Lenormand cards. He wants to come home. He wants to feel safe. He wants to have a family. He wants to grow a home. He wants to be in a long-term commitment. He feels that long-term commitment offers peace and freedom. And it's shocking to me that he has achieved this because of my trust issues. Love that for me. Anyway, divine masculine, that's beautiful. Have faith in your dreams. Just believe. Just have faith in the dreams that you have of offering divine feminine a cup. Listen, you'd be hard pressed to find a divine feminine that's going to turn down a truly divine masculine. Good luck with that. They say yes to wastes of time all the time. Okay. You're also getting this card in reverse. And Christina asked me about this Tower card in reverse today, and I explained how that's functioning for her. So it's here again, and it's coming from the masculine side of self, which is super attached to that karmic relationship. Now, that doesn't mean necessarily a person, although it does. If you're attached to a specific person, then you have a karmic attachment. A specific person is not your divine masculine. Your divine masculine may be embodied in the person who comes forward to profess their love to you. But when you hold on to a person because you think it's your quote unquote twin, then you are actually holding on to a third party. You're holding on to an external person that is outside of the self. And when you're doing that, we hold on to things because we fear we're not going to get it or we're going to lose it. So you're basically, by holding on to it, saying to the universe, I fear that I will not experience love, right? This is like the feminine over here, the masculine with this Tower card in reverse. I fear I will not experience any love. So I'm holding on to the potential for love in this person. I was going to say like in the personification, like, but in this person, I'm holding on to a potential for love. Even if that potential is not truly possible, I would rather have a feeling of potential than nothing at all. Because we fear that when we don't have an individual that's representing that loving relationship in our lives, that we are alone. We don't acknowledge connection that comes from many places outside of romantic love. So when we release an attachment to a person we think loves us because we watch readings and the readings say, oh, your divine masculine loves you and he's thinking about you and he's cleaning up his karmic messes so that he can be with you. And you're thinking, oh, that's what my person's doing right now. Most of the time it's not. I got to be honest. I have 11,000 followers on TikTok at this point, and I'm really confident that 99% of those people are experiencing this phenomenon where they see the reading and they think a person is thinking or saying the things in the reading, and they don't understand that that is really themselves experiencing those feelings and desires, and that the person who reflects them is also doing this thinking and feeling, but it is unlikely to be the person you're focused on. Most of the time, the person we're focused on isn't doing the stuff that we are doing. That's why they're not gelling with us. Now, you can believe in miracles. You can believe in change. You can believe that the person you're focused on is going to heal. That's fine. That's possible. Like, people can heal and change. Didn't you? But there's no benefit to holding on to the potential the person will change. Rather than doing that, you have to actually let go of that person. Allow the thing that you're clinging to just go their own way. 9:33 on the clock. And focus on your inner healing. Focus on the things that are still feeling out of alignment for you. And trust that love is going to come your way. That feminine side of self. Trust that love is coming. Because this says, I didn't even read this card. Oh my God. It says, trust your path. So let go of any back burner options. Let go of focusing on an external energy. You're going to go and watch other readings. And those other readers are not going to distinguish between your inner divine masculine and a person you're focused on. So I would recommend, if you're having a hard time letting go of somebody, don't watch readings unless they are by readers who are really insistent upon this point. There's little evidence that twins exist in reality. It seems to be more of an energetic state. I don't have any evidence personally that would make me feel confident enough to tell you that if you think someone is your twin, you're going to be with them. I really don't have a lot of confidence about that. What I do have confidence about is the person who you think is your twin is absolutely a gift, is absolutely teaching you unconditional love, absolutely has all of the conflicting issues that we see coming up with masculine energy because they are masculine energy, perhaps, or the feminine energy. They're going to have those toxic issues, the distortions that those people have. That person is a gift because they brought you on this journey and they're teaching you this lesson, which is that I must trust my path and that on my path, the right people will come along. The only thing that is keeping you from letting go is fear. If you knew you were supported, what would you do? If you knew that you could have the person that you wanted, you wouldn't cling to anyone else. And right now you're telling yourself, yeah, well, I know who I want. I want my DM. Or I want my DF. Like, that's who I want. Okay. Well, that person has free will. And by all indications, they have shown you through their actions that they don't want you. And I know that's so hard to hear, but they don't want you. And if they did want you, they would be as insistent as you are. For those that are in the collective that do want you but haven't expressed it yet, there is potential for them to shift. But holding out for that shift doesn't make sense. In fact, a person who really wants you, when you shift away from them, they are highly motivated to tell you that they want you at that point. And then it's up to you to choose them. It's not the other way around. You're not waiting to be chosen. Peacock spirit is here. This is that star energy with the message of let it shine for the divine masculine. I know that message is so hard. The message about a person not wanting you, because it makes you feel, it challenges your worthiness, but it is not about your worthiness at all. They might think that you're too good. And that's why they don't want you. If they let themselves want you, it will force them to have to take accountability or do the things that are very difficult that most people don't want to do. So it really doesn't have anything to do with you. Like, oh, they don't want me because there's some flaw within me. No, it's that they don't want you because wanting you requires them to bear their own burdens, to be autonomous and independent in themselves, to not be codependent and enmeshed, to not objectify someone else. And they're not ready for it. And you just have to send them love and take back your energy, because by giving them all of your energy, you're enabling them to be shitty. You're just enabling them to continue not thinking that they can give themselves love. When is the last time you shook a tail feather and shined your light for all to see? Within each of us is a peacock spirit yearning for expression, and you are called now to show the world the gorgeous creature you are, for you are a manifestation of spirit. Come out from the shadows, peacock spirit says, and show your true colors so that others may be inspired to express their own exquisiteness. Dance as if you remember that you are made of stardust and grace, filled with life force, energy, and sparkling light. You are a channel for divine love, and your dance is one of a kind. Catch the light and help it to shimmer and dance in celebration of your good fortune of being right here, right now. Spirit wants you to be joyful so that others may get up and dance along with you. So time to dance, divine masculine. And here's your theme for the week. You got 2 cards coming out, and I allowed it. You're getting the Page of Pentacles, the Princess of Discs. This for me is taking small steps towards your manifestation. The 2 cards that came out, this free associate card, which tells you to draw another card to allow this, like, and to free associate that card. So that's why I let these 2 come out, because this one is telling us to free associate the images on this card. So it looks like we have an angelic feminine here. I'll tell you what this card is in a minute. But we have an angelic feminine energy here. We have this stately mansion back here. This to me is wealth. There are many rooms in this house. This is like such a huge thing to try to create, to try to manifest, which is the card, manifestation. Soon you may manifest the goal you focus spiritual energies upon. Coming out with this Page of Pentacles, which has a feminine energy for me and is really about material emotional manifestation. So you have the feeling, now create a material expression of it, a conversation, a communication, a gift. This says soon you must manifest also. So for me, since this is what you need to work on this week, this also freely associate. So freely communicate. You must manifest what you have been desiring. It's like inevitable. So start taking these small steps to communicate your feelings. Divine Feminine's turn. All right. Divine Feminine. My dog is sleeping, but I taught Bowie. She's still a puppy, so she'll try to like nibble on your hand, although she doesn't bite hard or anything. She's just trying to play. And I will say to her, no bite. So she'll respond to that after I say it. She'll be like, oh, okay, and take her mouth away. But sometimes she'll be like really hyper and energetic and like, just really wanting my attention or wanting me to play with her. And she'll be like nippy or like using her paws or something, just out of control. So when that is happening, if I say no bite and she doesn't respond, I go, all right. She stops. So I literally trained her to stop being an asshole when she hears Matthew McConaughey say, all right. All right. Detective energy, divine feminine, you are in the shadow attributes of this: voyeurism and falsifying information. Girl, are you watching people you shouldn't be watching and making up stories about what you're seeing? That doesn't sound like my divine feminine. That sounds like my divine masculine, actually. Divine feminine, you are probably on social media looking at a person or even others, telling stories about what you see. You need to tune into your great powers of observation and intuition and seek out the truth, right? You're not trusting yourself, so you're making up stories. My real life example of this is that I had an experience years ago, a few years ago, when I told my former drummer a dream I had. Now I had told him dreams before that I had. So it wasn't entirely even weird for me to tell him a dream. And I had told him many very intimate things and expressed very emotional things with him before. So also not unusual. Well, I told him this dream, and it just so happened that it was like the straw that broke the camel's back. And all the things he had been holding in, all the feelings he wasn't expressing to me, ... in truly divine masculine fashion, 9:44 on the clock, imploded. He quit my band. He humiliated me in a Starbucks in front of everybody. It was very traumatic. And, you know, like he accused me of things and like yelled at me, and it was very bad. And then he ran away, literally, to another country, and kept my masters and wouldn't give them back. And so I had to recreate my entire album, which was good, but that really fucking scarred me. So recently, I have a lot of security with this one person that I have been getting to know and definitely have feelings for. And I had a dream about this person. And because I have a lot of security with this person, a lot more than I usually have with masculines, I told him the dream. And he responded beautifully. I literally was like, I had this dream. I realized what this means. And then he was like, oh, thanks for sharing that with me. That's lovely. But then, because he doesn't initiate much conversation over Instagram, he disappeared. But he didn't really disappear. He simply disappeared from when I was looking at who was watching my stories. And I was like, why isn't he watching my stories now? And then, you know, he didn't say anything to me. I had like one other little thing. I texted him when I was with friends that are mutual friends. I was like, I'm with these people. They're great. And he's like, oh, I love them. And that was like the last thing that we had talked about. And I was like, oh my God, like he's not watching me. And like he's online and he posted something. And so that means he's just completely ignoring me. And like I must have fucking terrified him, and he's just too nice to tell me that. And he's not as much of an asshole as my former drummer is. And like, and I like freaked out. And then yesterday I was like, hey, how are you? Like, did I scare you? Please just accept my love. Like, I can't handle it when people can't handle that I like deeply think about them and have emotions. And like literally it was like this little text message that was like, did I scare you, please? And he was like, you don't scare me at all. What do you mean? Like, because I haven't talked to you in a while? Like, is that not normal? And I was like, oh my God, my anxious attachment style was triggered. Even though I've gotten a lot better at dealing with that, it was triggered. And I explained to him what happened. I was like, look, I had this experience and it was just the timing. Like, you just weren't as interactive with me as you had been the week before, right when I sent that. So I just got triggered and I was afraid. He was like, oh, that's no worries. I really don't use Instagram all that much. I prefer to FaceTime like with people, rather than just have like little chats on. So I just don't use it that much. And you know what? I know that's true. Because I thought about it and I was like, one of my friends who I know loves me very much, he doesn't ever text me, hey, how are you feeling? You doing okay? What's going on with you? He never texts me that. He does send me the stupidest memes that are super funny every couple of days. And for him, that is how he says, hey, how you doing? I love you. Hope you're okay. 100%. And I'm secure with him, so I don't question it. If he doesn't send me memes for a while, I'll be like, oh, he must be busy. Because I have security. And I falsified this whole storyline about how this person that I like now hated me because I dreamed about them, because that happened to me before. So Divine Feminine, it is so problematic for you to be watching your masculine and trying to assess what they're thinking or feeling by looking at them on one of the most superficial platforms on the planet. Stop doing that. I'm going to stop doing it. I learned my lesson. Because the truth is, if he had been scared off by me saying that, good riddance. The last person that was scared off by that, good riddance. You're not serving me by being in my life if I can't be who I am. If I can't have a dream, feel the importance of it, and tell it to you, you're not my friend. You're not my friend, right? This person is my friend. They let me communicate that to them. They received it warmly. And then when I expressed that I was having fear about our interactions, they immediately soothed my fears and anxieties. So why would that person be sitting there like thinking to themselves, I'm actively going to like reject this person? That's not what's happening. And I'm falsifying that information with my anxiety that I'm carrying from my wounding. Your guardian angel is here to help you with prayer. Sometimes when we pray in a way that is not very attractive. We're like, please, God, I just really want you to change. This is so awful and I don't like it. Versus God, goddess, spirit, divine. I am super excited, thankful, happy about all of the things you've been planning for me. And even though I don't know what those things are, I know you're pretty good at stuff. Like when I look around, I'm like, hey, you made that. That looks kind of cool. And this looks kind of cool. And all the experiences I've had up until this point have been pretty interesting. So I trust that what you are bringing me is going to be fucking as super awesome. So I love you and I thank you. I've been having a lot of challenges. I know you know that. I'm not really going to focus on them, but I would like some relief from those challenges. And I know that you're going to bring them, and I'm thankful for it. That is how you pray. And your divine support team can help you with that. When you pray, you're praying, you're mindful of your gratitude rather than begging for relief. You don't need to beg. The universe is giving you relief. It's only you're focusing on needing relief that is keeping you from getting it. Also, when two or more are gathered in my name, I am with them. So I do feel that if there's a way for you to be in awareness that you are praying with your masculine at the same time, or together with your masculine at the same time, and you're both desiring to be together, there's something powerful about that. The true healing occurs when I give myself permission to feel whatever feelings live below the triggers. So, my trigger, I can even feel the emotion from it just beneath the surface. I'm very good at compartmentalizing emotions for others. That's how I heal people. But I can feel it there. And I know that that trigger is something that is unhealed. The experience of that rejection and that humiliation is still there, because I would not have been triggered about it if I had fully healed it. So I might write about it later. I might do a meditation, go back to that place where it happened and imagine it differently. Especially now that I'm so far removed from it, I might imagine a soothing letter coming or a nice communication that just healed whatever it was that was there between us, that made that wound, that made me fear I would experience that pain again. I really need to kind of feel those feelings. One of my friends is experiencing facial numbness at night, and she's been having it for a little while. And I was just communicating with her about it today, and it occurred to me, it's her face. It's on her face. When she was showing me on her face, I think she was showing me the right side of the face, but I can't remember. So she's got an MRI, or she had an MRI to try to discover like what is going on. They don't know the results yet. And her doctors were a little bit baffled. And so she's been worried about it. And it dawned on me, or rather my guides told me to message her about it. But I said, numbness, the spiritual medicine for numbness is to feel our feelings. Like numbness indicates that there's some feelings we're not allowing. And your face is actually identified with emotion. So literally you are not feeling your emotions right now. And I think it's interesting that it's happening at night because that's when our willpower is lower and what we were able to contain all day at night becomes relatively difficult because we've just run out of the energy we need to suppress things. And she's recently stopped drinking. She drank regularly for a while and she's completely stopped. I think she's stopped for over a month. And she did it for health reasons. Like it wasn't just because she felt she was an alcoholic or anything like that. She just didn't want to drink anymore for her body and for how, it was not healthy for her. And I said, I suspect that the drinking provided numbness that helped you not really process some of the extremely painful feelings and sadness that's within. She is like a Capricorn sun and then has 15 million Capricorn placements. Like there's so much Capricorn that I'm like startled that is even possible. But the amount of stoicism and the suppression of feelings that is in that personality type completely resonates with this. So I was like, I feel like once you feel the feelings that are being suppressed, like once you truly go into them, you'll see the symptom go away. It's literally numbing your face so you can't express emotion on your face. Like a Botox almost. Like, so I wrote that and she was like, it's 9:55 on the clock. She was like, oh my God, that makes perfect sense. So she won't heal. And even her body is like, girl, you gotta feel this. You have experienced. And I know her story and I know even just a tiny bit of it that she has revealed to me. I know the pain has got to be overwhelming. So it is difficult. Usually you need a team for doing true healing, a therapist, a spiritual healer, a spiritual practice, a support system of friends, a network of people who understand. So when you have a sense that you have a really healthy environment, you need to go into those feelings that are below the triggers and feel it. You have to feel sad. You have to feel mad. You have to feel hurt. You have to feel wounded. And you can't be like, it's okay. Like, I understand that person's perspective. I know my mom was extremely, anxious, had experienced abuse herself. Like, our logic that's like, listen, feelings, you're not really relevant because we logically understand why this happened. And since we're empathic, we also feel empathy for the other person who severely tortured us. But you have to feel the betrayal and the sadness to really heal it. Confidence is here. St. Michael the Archangel, bringing you the confidence you need to really, really become yourself fully, to believe and trust that you're going to receive love. Do not let your past hold you back. I just talked about. Now, think about how I approached the situation. After about 10 days of not hearing from this person, I was like, you know what? And the reason why I wasn't reaching out is because I was feeling the masculine energy is supposed to reach out. And the masculine energy is supposed to reach out. But then I had this moment last night where I was like, fuck that. This is just my friend. Like, I just want to talk to my friend. What the hell? And approached it so differently. Like, I was like, let me love you. What the hell? Is this the problem? He's like, no, it's not a problem. I'm not scared of you. And I totally receive your love. If I had been fixated on that past experience, I would have just continued to falsify information. I would have thought, oh, this person, is upset with me. They don't want to speak to me. And then I would have been cold and I would have been not communicating and I would have been in this prison of my own making. And that person would have been like, something must have happened. And then when he comes back from where he is and everybody's around, if I had continued to let my past hold me back and think, oh, this person you know, they're shit like the other person who fucked me up, and so I'm not even going to go around them. Then the distance between us would have grown larger and larger, confirming my fears more, and also creating fear in this person and anxiety because now I'm projecting it. But I didn't let that happen. I was like, you know what? No, I'm actually going to just be like, hey, what's the deal? Like, did I scare you? Like, that's what I'm thinking. Is that what happened? And then for him to be like, no. Now I have to trust what he said. There was a part of me, an old part of me, the past part of me, that was like, well, you don't use Instagram very much, but used to be watching my stories all the time. Why aren't you watching my stories now? Okay. First of all, stop looking at who's watching your stories. Who gives a fuck? Like, bring your ego down a little bit. It doesn't matter who watches you. Watch your own stories and watch other people's stories and don't worry about it, okay? But I could feel a part of myself being like, well, that doesn't seem true because like this and that and the other thing. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Do you watch everybody's stories all the time? You watch that person's story because you want a love relationship with them. And that's how you have learned to express love for others, is to be very attentive to their needs, to constantly check in on them and make sure everything is okay. And so in your mind, you think, oh, if someone loves you, then they're always anxiously checking on you. Sometimes people just know social media is social media. They don't think they're getting anything really deep from seeing a picture of you like walking in the dog park or, you know, going to a concert. They're not like having to see you every second. In fact, when someone's really secure, their mental image of you is stronger than anything else. And maybe that person was doing what you were just told not to do. Maybe, of course, this is a story I'm telling, but I could tell any number of stories, and the story I tell will change my energy. And if the story I tell is a positive story and I feel good about it, I'm going to attract positive, good things. So I could actually tell this, wrong card. I could actually tell this story like this. Maybe the person who stopped watching my stories forced himself to stop doing that because he was watching them and falsifying information. Maybe when he was seeing me doing things and going out, he was worrying that I didn't care about him or that I wasn't focused on him. Maybe that was driving him crazy. Maybe that's why he stopped watching my stories. Or maybe he just was fucking busy. And he like, don't let your past hold you back. Awakening, energetic upgrades, a new way of being, and integration. This is truly happening. The World card popped up 2 times for you from 2 different decks. And the cycles that you've been stuck in, those things have ended, and you are awakening and upgrading right now into integration. Integration is when the masculine and feminine come together. Spider spirit. Make your dreams real. The spider has to build the web for the dreams to happen, right? This is number 56. Weaving your dreams into the fabric of life begins with a single thread of invention, and then spirit joins you as your co-weaving partner. Take but a single step to make your dream a reality, and spirit will take 10 toward you. For the universe is designed to support your dream weaving. Spider spirit arrives when you need reminding of the awesome power of co-creation with spirit. Ideas and resources will begin to appear as if by magic as you begin to bring your dreams from the realm of intention into the world of senses where they take form. The action you need to take is to be clear about your intentions, and then act as if you have become the one that lives the life that you desire. The web of creation has an uncanny way of coming together to weave the beautiful pattern you set in motion. Another message of Spider Spirit is about any creative project you may be considering: writing, painting, music, journaling, gardening, etc. Now is the time when inspiration wants to be channeled through you as something creative, even artistic and tangible. Creative projects are successful now, if you are so inclined, let yourself be open to abundance. And the thing that I'm really interested in your reading about this card is that you have realized that you were only concerned, that your only responsibility for a long time has been this focus on a romantic relationship at the expense of your work in the world, your creative potential. So this is telling you to take a step towards this creative potential that you have allowed to fade or take a back seat to this relationship that you were trying to create. Because as you focus on this other thing, you're not focusing on how you don't have a relationship, because you're focused on something else. It's very consuming. And this idea that if you do one small thing, the universe takes 10 steps towards you. So if your project is huge, like my record, finishing my record and going on tour and actually, having a publicist and a marketing team and all of those things, that's a huge burden to try to create. Okay. It's a good thing I don't have to. All I have to do is stop not working on my project. That's it. I haven't worked on my record since my bassist came over 2 weeks ago because his car broke down. So he didn't come last week. And I think he came the week before. So it's been 2 weeks. When he came that week, I had an idea for the song that I'm supposed to record next. And we laid that down together. It was just harmonies. I'm creating like a gospel choir of my own voice. And I had to determine, like, what's a gospel choir sound like? Apparently they sing in triads and there's just a fuck ton of voices. So I'm going to have to do way more vocal lines than I did on all the other choirs that I've done. But that's all I did. Talking about it now gets me excited. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this and that and the other thing. But I haven't actually focused on working on my record at all. I've thought a lot about it and felt guilty about not doing it, but I haven't actually done it. And then when I went to the concert on Saturday, I felt so frustrated because I wanted to perform. And I was a super bitch about the performers that were the opening acts, because I was like, these people are fucking mediocre. And the only reason that they're able to play this big venue is because they're doing it in lingerie, which wasn't true. Like, they were very gimmicky, but they had a whole gimmick. It was funny. I enjoyed it. They were great. Their music was like dream pop. It was pretty, there was no reason for me to be bitchy. And so when I went home, I was like, okay, well, I was just really triggered because they're doing something I want to do and I'm not doing it, period. So I decided that I'm going to just focus on doing a show, because that was what I was feeling triggered about, that I'm not doing that. So do I have to get the show right now? No. I took one small step. I reached out to my contact at one of the venues I would perform at. If I don't hear back from them, fine. I'm going to reach out to more than one venue today. So I will have a show scheduled and I will go and perform. And I don't have to do anything else except for make those gestures that I want to get a show, and I'm going to get one. I know that. So start to do the same thing. If you have a huge project that's not your person, that you're like, oh, when I'm married, I'm going to do this thing. Okay, well, great. That's awesome. You're going to get married soon. So start doing the thing so that you're already doing it when the person comes. Whatever that huge project is, just pick one thing. Like, I just want to do one show, just one show. And I actually just need to reach out to venues. That's it. I don't have to. I mean, I can start rehearsing the show if I want to. Honestly, I don't ever have to rehearse and it would be fine, but I'm, like I do. But I could start rehearsing the show. I could start making the tracks for the show. I could start, looking for the musicians. But if I tried to sit down and do all of those things today, I would probably be really frustrated and I would give up. So all I really need to do is just do the one thing I said. I reached out to a venue last night. I have a couple ideas of different venues I might reach out to now. And I'm going to reach out to them today. And that's it. Maybe tomorrow, I'll work on part of the set. But no longer am I going to accept, after this reading, Boey's going to hold me accountable. I love that for you. Can you pick a different toy for now? No longer am I going to just sit back and not focus on what I want because I really want to get fucked. Let's be real. I'm thirsty, okay? That's why it seems so important to me to be in a relationship. Oh my God. Please help this poor Leo sun and Leo moon get some D. Okay. Here's your theme, Divine Feminine. Wow, 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 wow. The Seven of Swords and a new start. This says sometimes we must realize that what we have done needs to be discarded and we must make a new start. This is don't let the past hold you back. I love that for Bowie. This is don't let the past hold you back, right? And this past experience of the things that you learned being revealed, the secrets that were hidden, if somebody cheated, if they betrayed you, if they kept something, if they hid something from you, you're not letting that hold you back. You're overcoming the emotions that come up that might keep you from really doing what it is that you seek to do. And this is a strategy. You need a strategy for how to discard something and move forward. So what I just told you my strategy. My strategy for me is to have a show. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a show. I've got a lot of other things I do. I have a business to run. I've got all these readings I have to do. I have to try to somehow make abundance from this stuff, but I'm not going to worry about how to do that. I'm just going to reach out to venues today. So I really want you to embrace the Seven of Swords and figure out how to get away with the thing you want to do by finding one small step in a larger strategy that you can accomplish. And if you have had a person that you've been holding on to, it's time to realize that that behavior is done and needs to be discarded. And you need to hold on to yourself and not another person. Oh my God. We still have all these oracles to do. Okay. I'm going to keep going. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here for this whole time. Thank you for all the support you do give me, for sharing, liking, subscribing, clicking on notifications. All those things help me a lot. So if you can't financially support me, there's so many energetic gestures you can make that will support me. You can go to pearlsprayers.com. The link is below. The /members page has a full, basically it's almost like a LinkedIn. It shows you pretty much everything that you might want to click on. The Tell Me Everything spreads, booking a personal reading, listening to my music, finding my TikTok, all those kind of things you can find on the website. So please go there. If you are able to, and you can make a donation for these readings. I spend 2 hours Monday, Wednesday, Fridays to give you these full sessions so you get your full healing. And if you think that a lot of people are clicking support, that's not happening recently. So if you could support me, that would be great. If 100 people watch my video and everybody pays $1, then I made half of what I normally make when I do a full length reading. So keep that in mind. Like, this is generally a lot of value that I bring to you. I am healing my Chiron placement, in securing abundance for myself, in telling you what my needs are and not holding it in, that I actually need to have financial abundance in my life to feel secure. So please help me with that. Hey, this is the archetype that both of you are in right now. It is healer energy. I love that. Passion to serve others by repairing the body, mind, and spirit, and the ability to transform pain into healing. So both of you are really passionate about helping one another. And you have realized that the way that you can do this is healing your body, mind, and spirit, transforming the pains you've experienced into healing, and then extending that outwards. You are getting this card right now of retreat. This is your guardian angel that is supporting you in the stress and just, like the exhaustion that you're experiencing, and just telling you, like, go on a vacation, like take a rest for a second. just relax, like just retreat from the fears, the worries, the anxieties, from the feeling that you can't get it done and that you're never going to be able to accomplish what you want, and just retreat from that sadness, from that anxiety, from that focus. And if you can go on a vacation, if you can like honestly not work for a couple of days and not watch readings and not be obsessed with anything, just retreat, it would be really good for you. When I lean on certainty and faith, I change my mind about the world that I see. So you have asked for something and the universe is guaranteeing you're going to receive it. Guaranteed. Have that faith. That will change your mind about the world, because the world will suddenly be about all the ways the universe is manifesting what you desire. This career card is in reverse. I think that for the masculine, there has been too much focus on the career. For the feminine, not enough. There is a need for balance with career, love, and this belief that there is growth here, and this that you have found something stable and reliable. By the way, Bowie's doing really good with potty training. That is why she's out of the crate. So that really only took like a few days. Right, Vince? Meanwhile, on planet Carrot, can you see? Oh, Jesus. There's like carrot everywhere. Okay. Your dream needs a practical plan. You know, that's true, because Divine Masculine is over here like, how the fuck am I going to do my dream? I don't know. Like, Divine Feminine doesn't even want me, I think. Practical plans, just like I described for the feminine with that spider card. Don't be overwhelmed by all the elements of the plan, but create a plan and then pick one small thing and take that action. Align your life. You know, this is one of the first times I've received this card that I really feel like this is about how you are in alignment, how you have, this is like nothing needs to change right now. You are on the path towards integration. You are in alignment. See? Be spirit. Sweet results await. I love that. What are you looking at over there? What do you see? She's like looking intensely at something. 7. Be spirit. The Be Spirit's message is that sweet rewards are on their way if you are willing to get your ego out of the way and immerse yourself in the connected energy of all things. Be Spirit knows not to let a sense of being a separate... it must be like a fly or something. Be Spirit knows not to let a sense of being a separate self get in the way of a good thing. Spirit is always producing honey, miracles, and magic are everywhere. When you connect with a great hive, you are vibrating and buzzing in exquisite harmony with all. Be Spirit asks that your focus be on connectivity. Your body, heart, soul, and psyche experience total interconnectedness and a true integration when you self-forget, when you remember that you are part of a greater unified consciousness. Moving from separation into connection, from self-centered limitation to spirit-centered infinite possibility and potential. You become busy as a bee, enjoying the gifts of Be Spirit, fully in alignment with your highest expression of yourself. Your heart opens and creativity rushes through you, seemingly without effort, as you experience that nothing feels like work. Industriousness is driven by enthusiasm and inner motivation, and time seems to fly by quickly as the hive supports you in the making of honey. Do you feel the presence of your helpers in the hidden realms adding their energy to your creations? Magical results are taking form and will be sweeter than you expect. Be Spirit wants you to remember that your part in the divine partnership with the conscious universe is being rewarded, even if you can't see that yet, and asks that you share your good fortune as there is plenty of honey for all. Be a part of the larger whole, the force that brings forth all that is sweet and delightful. I love that so much. And here's your final message. This is your theme for the week. This is the 5 of Wands and the let go card. What, if anything, can be done to let go of what is standing in your way? This is standing in your way of having a healthy foundation. This is some kind of a desire that you have, probably for a specific person, a specific outcome, or something that you fear or feel guilty about desiring. Whatever this is, let go, and you will see that foundation of that 4 Wands, that healthy relationship that you are seeking. Look at that. They let go and transform. I love that message. Thank you so much for being here. I don't have time for the Go General today. Actually, I don't start until 11:30, so I'll go ahead and do it because I just remembered it's 11:30, not 11. So I have to take preppers out before my scheduling meeting. All right, so let's do this then. What is bugging the divine masculine? It's stuck in his mind. He can't stop thinking about it, and it is really blocking him from being able to come forward. Maybe what is that 5 of Wands? Let's do that. What is the thing in the 5 of Wands that the divine masculine must let go of to come forward? What is it that he's holding on to? How about the feminine? What will reassure him to allow him to let go? What will reassure him to allow him to let go? What will reassure the feminine? Don't you just love my music? I'm like, I'm a musician. I sing like that. It's not how I really sing. Go hear how I really sing on Spotify. You'll be like, oh, shit. And how can the feminine go general? All right, let's do it. Divine masculine. This is what you are having trouble letting go of. It is the tree. Deep roots. This is about growth and expansion. It's about being stuck. It's almost like a 5 of Wands energy if you're like rooted into the ground and you can't move. So, and this is also this desire to grow and expand and like have this family. So honestly, there might be past family the divine masculine has to let go of. And he might be fixated on growing this new family. And he's just thinking about this over and over. So he's got to let this go. This is the reassurance. Heart. Love. You can lovingly let go of energy, unhealed energy that is preventing you from growth. It's loving to set healthy boundaries. It is loving. The thing is, if the masculine has a karmic partner, if this is a situation where there's an ex-wife or an ex-girlfriend, or even if it's the maternal energy that's really like holding him back, he might think that he's being loving by allowing these people to still have opinions, like ideas that they're going to be able to change the situation. For as long as he keeps these people just kind of around, he's actually extending everyone's discomfort. He's increasing the discomfort overall. It's much more loving to just detach from those 10:22 on the clock, from those energies that are out of alignment. Every time you go and interact with that energy, you have to lower your own frequency to go there. And it doesn't serve you and it doesn't serve them because they're not able to come up to your level if you're consistently enabling them to stay where they are. So there's love here, and that's why it's difficult for the masculine to let go of those deep roots. But the love does never go away. In fact, it is loving to finally create the space that you need between you and that individual, because then they will have to focus on themselves. and they have free will. If they don't do that, that's not up to you. But you being there allows them to be fixated on you. So rather than figure out how to go about this, you're going to go general. You're going to go general in this energy of the Queen of Swords and this bouquet energy. The Queen of Swords is somebody who carefully arranges things. She has healthy boundaries. She puts her foot down and she makes sure that she does this in a loving manner. She's not as cold and aloof as the King because she's more heart-centered. She is loving to herself first, though, and is basically, there's no getting through that boundary. She's like, if this doesn't reflect self-love, the love that I have for myself, you can't get in here. But that in and of itself is loving. So you need to think about a time in your life when you did establish a healthy boundary and you did it in a loving way with like loving gesture. And it was something that you didn't want to do, but you did it. And finally, after you did it, you felt much better. I have a great example from my own life that I'm going to use for this when I do this work of going general. One of my best friends for the longest time, around August of 2021, August, September, we kind of hit a little bump in the road. And I had to establish a boundary because I was feeling like I couldn't be authentically myself because it was triggering this person. And she had to establish a boundary because she was feeling triggered. So she said lovingly to me, I love you so much, but I need some space right now. And I actually had said when we had the conversation before, I had said like, maybe we need space. So she said, I love you so much, but I need space right now. And I don't know for how long. That was so hard. But my security in that relationship, I love her so much. And the way that she let me go was just, it was affirming. She was like, I love you so much, but I do need space for myself right now. And I felt that that was true. I felt that it wasn't that she didn't love me. It was just that she needed something. And you know what? I could give that to her. I could actually give her what she asked me for. So I clarified that, she didn't have a timeline for it. And I said, okay. And we had space from each other until Christmas. And then on Christmas, because she's my best friend for years, and I know that she's kind of an avoidant person and probably would not necessarily be quick to approach me if she was feeling better, I was like, I'm going to send her a Christmas message, just a loving Christmas message. Not pressuring, not asking any questions, not, needing her to respond, but just, hey, I love you. I'm always sending you loving thoughts. Merry Christmas. And she responded. And then we reconnected. And now we have a different dynamic. We are not as codependent as we were. During COVID, we talked exclusively to each other like 3-4 times a day. It was like we were roommates. It was so good for us. We needed that. That enmeshment at that time kept us from bottoming out in the complete isolation we were in. She lives in Manhattan and I live here. And I had no one coming to my home. I was completely quarantined. It was absolutely necessary. But we hit a point where that enmeshment was actually starting to cause tension. And we released the tension lovingly through giving each other space. Then when we came back, now I talk to her much more like we used to, which is we consistently stay in touch. We see things that amuse us. We know the other person will like, we respond, we check in, and we talk to each other on the phone, once a week or so, rather than every single day, 2 or 3 times a day. So that is a situation where establishing a healthy boundary in a loving way resulted in a beautiful reconnection once we did come back together that was really healthy for us both versus the way we were before. So if you have an experience like that in your past, masculine, you can use that. That's my experience I can use for this work because I know this is my work too. I want to grow my family. There's deeply rooted feelings I have for some people that I have to maintain boundaries with in order to be successful in being able to manifest a loving relationship. Okay, feminine side, it's your turn now. You're still thinking about this, girl? Will you please do your homework? I just pulled this card the other day for you. When was this? This was when I did the Aquarius reading for the collective yesterday. But you know what? For the members only, because it wasn't for the collective. Maybe that's why this is happening again. And that happened actually last time. So I might start doing these going generals only during the collective message so I don't have to repeat them twice. But divine feminine is what she needs to let go of is this key energy. And it's the 8 of Pentacles that working on our career, oh man, that thing that's like at the expense of what we of how we show up in the world, of being focused on a relationship. So this is divine feminine trying to figure out the key to why she can't get things to work in regards to her material experiences, not just in career, but also in terms of this manifesting this partner, but particularly in regards to her work in the world. She's thinking about that over and over, and she's got to let this go. Like, what is it that's going to finally enable me to do what I want to do? The reassurance here is choices. You have so many options and you are just very fixated on this one thing, this one way. That's the 8 of Swords energy where you're in that mental entrapment because you think, oh, there's only this one person for me, or there's not only one way. You have a lot of choices. You have a lot of options for showing up in the world and doing the thing that you want to do. And maybe you're feeling overwhelmed by the amount of options and you just got to pick something. Like with my record, there's so many different ways I could articulate that desire. And I just picked something. I was like, I want to perform. I got pissed off when I was watching people perform, when I was like, fuck this. I am so good at this. Why am I not performing at the fucking Regent? That fury that I had, that was my sign that I really want something and I'm not letting myself do it. So I picked one thing. And that's the one thing I'm going to do right now. Here is how you will go general. Rather than try to go and find all the different choices you have or reflect upon all the different choices you have, you're going to do this instead. This is the book. This is information, and it's a door opening. So I want you to think about times in your life when there was something you really wanted to know how to do, something you were really curious about, and it should be pretty significant, not mundane, something that was really on your mind. You were like, how can I just do this? I want you to think about how whatever it was pushed you over to just go seek the information you needed and then follow the steps. So the thing that I'm thinking of right now for myself is I said I wanted a dog since I started. First of all, I wanted a dog for so many years. I wanted a dog since my mom got rid of our Dalmatian mix that I got when I was a kid and was just out of control. My mom just is not the type that can handle dogs, honestly, that aren't just pure saints. Because our dog that we now have is a pure saint. But I wanted it for years. And I said all the time, I want it. And finally, in this summer, after doing a lot of research, I started doing research. I got a book. I knew I wanted a husky because I had fostered a husky before, and my family dog is a German Shepherd Husky Vizsla mix. So I knew that I wanted a husky of some kind. And I actually would have been happy with a German Shepherd as well. I just wanted a wolf dog. But I got books on dog care and dog training. And I took a step to reach out to some people who were rehoming dogs back in August. I just took that first step. I opened the door to learn about being a dog owner, truly being a dog owner, what it will involve, training, all that kind of stuff. And then I just reached out, reached out and was like, hey, I'm interested in this dog that you're rehoming, or these dogs that you're rehoming, whatever. And then the universe brought me my dog. She is a Gerberian Shepsky is what they're called. They're German Shepherd Husky mix. She's huge. Not what and that's what I wanted. I wanted a big, huge dog. And there was almost nothing I could do to not get her. Like, I had all my fears come up about finances that had prevented me from getting the dog in the first place. I had all these different choices of where to get the dog and how, I called numbers. I tried all these different things. And then when I finally alighted upon this one post about this, these huskies that were born and available in Compton, along with a few other posts, I messaged her. She got back to me. And then I said, well, listen, don't hold this dog because I don't know what my situation is going to be like. And it's going to take me at least a month to prepare for the puppy. And also she was too young at the time that they contacted me. Every week that she would hit me up and be like, hey, how are you feeling? We're going to be in town. Do you want me to bring puppy? And I'd be like, oh no, I'm so sorry. I'm really not ready. Please don't hold her for me. If someone else comes, it's going to be fine. Eventually, there was nothing I could do. There was nothing I could do. I couldn't postpone it. I couldn't, it's if you want it, she's yours. All you have to do is choose to allow her to come in. And all you had to do was make a choice that is what you wanted. As soon as you chose what you wanted, everything happened that brought her to you. As soon as you sought out information about the thing you wanted and started to envision it, that was what made it happen. So you have to go general and do that same thing. You have to think about a time when this is true for you, when there was something that you wanted, you did a little research, and all these things kind of fell into place, and then finally you had that thing. That's what you're going to do, Divine Feminine. The final message for the both of you is sexy. It's the whip or the scourge. This is the card that is associated with sexual desire and sexual passion. It's the 11 card. And this can be something for both of you. I have been, rather than doing this as a shadow, I have been using this bottom card as something you don't see coming. So enjoy that. All right. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. I appreciate it. I love you all. I am going to be back on Wednesday. Tomorrow's my day off. So if you send an email or if you book something and you don't hear from me right away, don't be afraid. I shall respond immediately on Wednesday. Well, probably not immediately. I'm pretty mad at doing things immediately, but I will get back to you on Wednesday for sure. I will be here on Wednesday morning for Obstacles Removed. On Friday, I will be here for Release and Rebuild. If you are a member of pearlsprayers.com, super cheap, $3.33 a month, or you can become a spiritual nourishment student for the spiritual nourishment course, which is a self-directed course. There's a video below that describes it if you're interested. It's super powerful, and it also gives you a year membership to the site as well. So you can see the Tell Me Everything spreads that I do on Thursdays and Saturdays. Or in the case of this week, I actually did a special collective Tell Me Everything on Saturday. And then on Sunday, for members only, I did an Aquarius season reading, which talked about what to expect over this next few weeks. If you're interested in that, you can still see it. Everything is always available to members. There's a Every reading I've ever done that's there is available. You can watch them all. So if you want to go on a Tell Me Everything binge, go to town. And that's all that information is below. I shall see you on Sunday with Grace Strega like we just did yesterday. Unfortunately, our whole reading got lost because Instagram is a biznatch. So if you missed that reading, I do apologize. There is no replay. You can watch the replay of the reading from last week, which is also only half of it because Mercury in retrograde has been a real fucking bitch. And the other thing that I will say is that we have had that happen enough times that if I were you, I would definitely set aside some time on Sunday between 1 p.m. And 3 p.m. Pacific Coast time and 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to come and hang out with us on TikTok and Instagram and get all of the tea in case the replay doesn't work. All right. Thank you so much. Have the best day, everybody. Take care. And let me know how you like this video. Please comment. That's something I think is supposed to help grow my channel. So if you want to comment, I would appreciate that. Love you all. Take care.